We have Rob Nahal from AWS. He's a software developer and software developer advocate at AWS. And he'll be talking to us about how to unlock your superpowers with agentic AI. So please listen into the conversation and we will get the presentation started.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Hi, everybody. Hello, hello. Happy 1 o'clock for anyone who celebrates 1 o'clocks. So raise your hand if you are graduating this year. All right. Computer science majors, raise your hand. Electrical engineers. Oh, yeah. Okay, there you go. This is electrical. That's the power of the house, huh? No pun intended. Okay. Cool. So we're going to talk about something that's relevant, even if you're not a software developer. If you're an electrical engineer or any type of engineer, or even if you're not an engineer, how to start using agentic AI tools in your favor so that you get best outcomes in the following. So we're going to talk about, first we're going to talk about what agentic AI is, just like a brief little recap of it. And then we're going to talk about how to accelerate your learning and education with agentic AI. So I'll show you guys some cool things. We're going to talk about MCP servers. Has anyone heard of MCP servers? I want to just get a temperature check of where we're at. Okay, I'll go ahead and explain that for sure for you guys. And job search strategies, there's going to be some really cool things. Really stay tuned on that. We're going to talk about how to use agents to accelerate your job search, building your brand, which actually goes hand in hand with job search as well, believe it or not. You're marketing yourself. And some personal career advice and stories as someone who has made a career change from undergrad biology to now I'm working as a developer and developer advocate with agentic AI in completely different field than biology, basically. And I've been laid off a couple of times too and found my way back to different roles. So I would like to share, any wisdom that I've gained from that experience with you all as well. And some next steps and call to action so that you guys get some immediate, tangible results out of this. All right, ready to get started? Yeah? Woo! Let's do it. All right. Oh yeah, I love that. Now we're feeling it. That's the electrical engineers and the computer science. Okay. Anyway, that sentence ran on too long. Okay. So intro to agentic AI. So we know large language models by themselves, they have something called a training cutoff. They only know information from up to a certain point, but now if I ask it what happened in the stock market yesterday, naturally it wouldn't know. But in order for it to know, it would need to use something like a tool that will give it access to the real-time data, like web search, for example. Web search is a tool. So an LLM by itself can only think and reason based on what it was trained on, but an agent can think and decide based on what tools it knows it's available to it for it to use to perform certain tasks. So an LLM by itself, if I ask it what happened with Bitcoin yesterday, it wouldn't know. But an agent would be able to use a web search tool because it'll reason, oh, okay, what happened yesterday? Well, let's search up the web, and it'll search up the web, get some information, and then give me back information that it's retrieved about what happened with Bitcoin. So that's just one example of tools that LLMs using tools. That's essentially an agent when it can decide to start using tools and perform actions on your behalf. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about some of the common tools. So there's web search, file system tools, and email. Those are some common tools that have been introduced to LLMs to perform certain tasks. For example, with coding assistants. Anyone use coding assistants here? Where we at? Oh yeah? I would encourage you to do it even if you're not a computer science major. And we're going to talk about that in the branding aspect of this lecture. File system tools. A large language model can access tools to write and read from your local computer file system. So maybe it can start generating files. So before, when ChatGPT or a large language model would just generate some code and you'd copy and paste it into your own file, right? You'd have to perform that action itself. But now it can perform that action because it can actually write to the file system itself. That's an agent. So when you're using something like Cursor, Kiro, shout out to Kiro, by the way, I'm an AWS, shameless plug. You know, Codex, Copilot, right? These are writing code to actual files on your system. So they're agents. So that's really what an agent is. It's not too different from an LLM aside from that distinction of tooling and its ability to use and decide which tools it can use. So it can actually have access to different tools as well. So let's go ahead and look at some examples here. But here's a diagram. Obviously, I used AI to generate it because, like, why not, all right? So as you can see, this is basically a summary here. Tools in action. That's basically level 2, the doer. The agent is the doer. So level 1 is just the LLM. When ChatGPT first came out, right? That was just yeah. But now even ChatGPT, right? You can ask it what happened yesterday. It'll actually start performing a web search. It's already agentic. So you're already using agents and you didn't even know it. Okay, so MCP. So that's something probably going to be a little bit new. MCP is a protocol that is similar to basically some standard for that everyone has agreed, not everyone, but like people have generally agreed upon on how a large language model can interact with real-time systems that make API calls to access and process data, to retrieve data, to input data to real-time systems like databases or shared repositories, GitHub, things like that. So we're going to talk about some MCPs that are going to help you with your job search and your branding and overall your education. So we're going to start with the most important of them all. Can you guess? Your own education. Nothing better than that, really, because no one can take any of that away from you. So let's talk about your learning superpowers. So let's say there's some research. Does anyone read research papers? I know electrical engineers probably got plenty of research papers you got to read through and consume and understand it, right? Probably new stuff comes out. You know, right now you're already using probably agentic tools because it's already built into a lot of things. So you can ask it what happened, what happened in this research. This is in research from MIT, December 22nd. But if I ask an LLM, in this case, this is a screenshot of me asking Kiro. That's one agentic IDE for coding assistant. If I ask it, when is your training cutoff, it says early 2025. So naturally, it would not know about this research that happened in December 2025. But what I can do is, so I'll show you a video here. I'll play this video. Let's take a look. So I'm giving it a URL, and I'm asking it, help me understand the key concepts from this research paper. And it's using an MCP tool that's built in. So for Kiro IDE, or even like ChatGPT, there's probably some built-in tools for web search. That's pretty simple for now. And it can perform web search on real-time data or data that is beyond its cutoff, like knowledge cutoff point, and start doing the large language model stuff with it, like reasoning, summarizing, giving you answers based on your semantics. So that's great, right? But that's kind of boring now. I think you guys kind of already got the point of that. But let's take a look about this. Does anyone like flashcards? Would you like it if you could just generate some flashcards on your research papers and you start studying that wherever you go? That'd be great, right? Flashcards are a great way to learn and research. I mean, not research, learn and study what you've researched and some new information. So let's take a look at an MCP server I used so that it could generate flashcards on an application called Anki. Has anyone heard of Anki for flashcards? Some of you already using Anki? Okay. Now, keep your hands up if you're using Anki already. Okay. And are you aware of MCP server for Yankee? Awesome. We're going to put those hands back up in just a second. So let's take a look. So here's the video. This is just an introduction to Anki for anyone that's not familiar with Anki, because I only saw a couple of hands up for Anki. It's a flashcard app. You can, kind of like What about Quizlet? Oh yeah, Quizlet's more popular, huh? They got a bigger audience. Yeah, I like Quizlet a lot too, but Anki has the MCP server, so now I like that more. So here's just an example. It's flashcard, right? Question, and then you ask, you try to vocalize the answer out loud with enthusiasm, so you can practice in your interviews. And then you can actually even, after it shows the answer, you can say, was that hard or easy? And if it was easy, it'll ask you like 3 weeks later. If it was hard, it'll ask you 3 minutes later. Okay? So that's kind of the concept of Anki. Now, here, what I'm going to be doing is in Kiro IDE, which is an Agentic IDE. When I say IDE, it's Integrated Development Environment. It's a text editor. It's like Visual Studio Code. Anyone heard of Visual Studio Code? Awesome. It's a fork off of Visual Studio Code. It's basically a coding assistant, similar to Cursor and all the other things that you've heard of. And I'm going to show how it works with the MCP so that this research from MIT that we just looked at, it'll just generate flashcards for me so that I can study it on the go, so that I can really learn it. So let's take a look. So I'm typing in a prompt. I said, put the whole article in a document for me. So it's going to write the whole article in a local file for me so that I have it locally in my file system, that MIT research paper. So after it does that, because I want to have it in my local file system, and then we can do some cool things with it once we have access to it locally. So as you can see, it's creating a .md file. And yeah, I just give it permission. I say accept all. Okay, cool. So now you can see I just have a file with all the MIT the research in it, right? It's like all the text from that research right in there. Cool. But now I'm going to prompt it to generate flashcards for me using this Anki MCP. So you see right there, on the left panel, there's the MCP servers panel. So in Kiro, you can have all your MCPs in one place, and you can enable, disable them as you need them. And it's actually important to not have them all enabled because of context window. Anyone familiar with that concept? Context window? Yeah, so basically if the LLM is overwhelmed with too much information at once, and MCP servers are part of that information, its performance starts to really go down after a certain threshold. So we want to just be resourceful of how many MCP servers we're enabling at once. So enable the Anki MCP, and I'm just asking it to generate flashcards for me. And it's using the tool called list decks. Yeah, let me just go over here. I can barely see from here. Yeah, add note. So there's a tool called add notes in that MCP server to add flashcard notes to that flashcard. Whoa. Yeah, so it's now I can see that it's going to be in the machine learning. It says created flashcards in your machine learning deck, all tagged with MIT CSAIL. So let's take a look at that. Ta-da! I got a bunch of information on, once it clicks. Go ahead. That's just me screen recording last night. So go ahead, pass me, click that, please. All right, cool. So there it is. There's the questions from that research paper, and there's the answer from that research paper, flashcards. Now I can study that research paper, and it can really help you study a lot, because now, does anyone have like your textbooks for your school in PDF format by any chance? Yeah, you can flashcard that whole thing up real quick. Like whatever chapter you need to learn, you can start flashcarding it up. And if you're commuting to work, I live in New York City. If I'm on the subway, I can just start flashcarding it up, 15 minutes a day. Nice little habit. Happy New Year's resolution, huh? Atomic Habits. That's a book that was recommended by Michael yesterday. Great habit to get into. Maybe do some flashcards of, study flashcards every day. Cool. So that was just one example of how to accelerate your learning superpowers with Agentic AI. How are we doing so far? Am I losing y'all? Too slow? Too fast? I want to make this interactive. Any questions so far? Doing all right? I didn't lose you guys yet? No? Just say it out loud, please. I can barely even see. Keep going? Doing good? All right. Appreciate it. Okay, cool. So let's talk about the next feature. You can find this feature in other services, by the way. I just happen to be using Kiro, right? You can probably do this in other services and products from other companies. I just have time to show you one, and I'm getting paid by just one company to do it. Next one, let's talk about agent hooks in Kiro. So here, I'm going to get another research paper in this video. This is for electrical engineers, so shout out to the electrical engineers. There's a research paper that was published December 11th for microelectronics, related to microelectronics, which I have no idea about. I have no idea about anything with electrical engineering, but I'm going to start learning now with my flashcards, this research paper, and I will have a little bit of idea. So what I'm asking it to do is, notice how it's repetitive, right? When I typed in a prompt last time, I asked it like generate flashcards for me with this research paper, from this file, and then I had to type that up. Wouldn't it be cool if I could just have a button I just press? So even like 2 weeks later, if I have a different file open with research, I just press that button, it'll know to generate flashcards with that file. I don't gotta type anything, just click something. Well, that's the agent hook. So agent hook is basically, there's a trigger, in this case, so I'm gonna show you right here. In the Kiro panel, you click on that ghost icon, and there is the generate flashcards agent hook. And you see there's an event called manual trigger, but you can also have different types of events that will trigger Kiro to be prompted with a prompt that you give it. So these are the instructions. So I can have a very detailed, granular prompt that I don't have to type every single time. And on a manual trigger, that's one of the events. And you can have other types of events, like if a certain file is saved or if a certain file gets uploaded to a certain folder, I wanted to automatically ask the LLM something about that file. You can have different types of events. In this case, it's just a click event. And what I can do is whatever file I have open on my open tabs, I just click on that button and it will ask that prompt, very detailed, of exactly how to do, exactly how to generate the flashcards for me. So I don't even have to type and ask it to generate flashcards. I just click that button. That's called an agent hook in Kiro. You can automate these repetitive prompts so that you don't have to type these prompts over and over again. So now I have a couple of them. I have explain selection. Have you ever seen some information from an LLM and it's like super complicated and you're like, whoa. Explain that to me like I'm a little bit more dumb. Yeah? I've done it a lot of times. So I have a button for that, so I don't have to say that every time. I just click the button and it'll do that, right? So that's called an agent hook. Let's talk about the next one. And as you can see, it generated the flashcards. And research, MIT, microelectronics flashcards, boom. I got flashcards for electrical engineering. I'll join you guys in this wonderful study. And I'm gonna learn and figure out what I've been missing out on. All right, so next one. And I'm running a little bit low on time. I thought I was not going to have enough content. It looks like I'm talking way too much. So let's continue. There's one for diagrams. So if you want to have it automatically generate visual diagrams for you, like a mind map of your content, instead of flashcards, you can have it generate diagrams. Is it playing right now? Okay. Wait. There we go. Okay. So here's an example of just some bunch of notes I have as I was studying for AWS certification about S3 buckets. It's a cloud engineering concept related to storage on the cloud. Bunch of notes, but I want a visual diagram so I can just understand how they all relate to each other, these concepts, right? So there's an MCP server called Mermaid MCP that I have right there, MCP Mermaid, and similar to the flashcard one, I just prompt it, and instead of generating flashcards, now Mermaid MCP is going to generate a visual diagram for us. I think I can actually go towards the end of the video just because I'm running out of time, but all I had to do is prompt it, and I end up with this beautiful diagram right here on S3 buckets. Boom. It's accelerating my learning and education, and that's important to me. That's valuable to me because time is money, and time is more than money. Time is way more than anything. So it's great. Time to learn even more. So job search. Agentic AI for job search. So there's actually one tool that I use. Just if you actually look for a Google Chrome extension, just search like on the Google Chrome extension search page, just literally search job. And like you'll see a bunch of cool stuff come up. One of them is called Teal HQ. So it'll get all the job postings from various different websites like Glassdoor, Indeed, some websites, not LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is super strict about scraping. So not LinkedIn, but everything else, yeah, like Monster, So it'll get all that. So then you can search through all these different platforms for jobs for your roles. So like Cloud Solutions Architect, for example. And then I can save those jobs, and I have this dashboard where I can save it. And this is not really Agentic AI. This is the Chrome extension, but I use this Chrome extension. I recommend this Chrome extension if you are looking for jobs. It puts it all in one place, and you can even track all your stuff, and it's free. They also have a paid plan, which gives you even more features, but I think the free stuff already gives me enough. But what I do with this is actually, let's take a look at this video here. So basically, I can take, I have my dashboard of all my saved jobs, for example, and how am I going to use Agentic AI to help me with the job search here? Right here. And just for the sake of time, I'm just kind of speeding up through some parts of the video. I'll just copy that whole job description in. And I actually have an MCP server here called PDF Reader. So if you have your resume in PDF format, then this MCP tool can allow the LLM to just scrape through your PDF document. And then you can do a compare and contrast, like where am I lacking for this job, where are my strengths, and did anyone go to the resume and job search strategy workshop yesterday with Michael? Amazing, right? He had some great strategies. So you can give Kiro a prompt based on everything you learned from Michael yesterday and create an agent hook, which is one of these, so that when you just click it, it prompts Kiro or your AI agent to look at your resume and organize it in terms of impact based on what would be most attractive for this role that I'm pasting in right now. And then I don't have to prompt it every time to do that. I can just press a button and it'll just do that when I just give it a job description. So compare my resume with this job, and then it is going to give me a new markdown file, which I can then convert to a PDF, and I got a new resume that's basically tailored to that job. Now, I did have to tell the LLM, stop lying about my skills. just to make me look better for this job. It kept trying to really get me the job by any means necessary. And I was like, no. I want to stay in integrity. So I got to give it a better prompt next time. So that's my mistake. But it did give me a really good resume, let me tell you. I was ready to hire myself. All right, cool. So that's MCP servers. How are you feeling about the concept of MCP servers now? It's basically something that provides tools for your LLM to use, and your LLM is smart enough to know, based on the tools that it has access to, oh, which tools should I use? Oh, he's asking me to create flashcards. Well, I'm going to use the flashcard MCP. It'll just know which tool to use because it can reason. It's a large language model. So we're leveraging the power of a large language model's reasoning abilities with the tools that it can use to do stuff. Feeling better about MCPs than before? Okay. And I'm more than happy to do a whole workshop on how to set up these MCP servers and like step by step, because obviously I didn't have time to like show you exactly how to configure the MCP servers that I have on the left panel, right? There's a certain process to it, but it's not that hard. You don't have to be a software developer to do that. All you need to know is, have you heard of JSON? JSON? This key value pairs. Literally, it's curly braces and key value pairs. You don't even need to know for loops or anything. Like, you're just configuring a file with certain key value pairs that will allow you to enable an MCP server. For job search strategy, let's say now you are ready to send a cover letter. There's a Gmail MCP server. There's videos on YouTube on how to set it up, step by step, that my mother can follow, and she's a nurse. You don't have to be super technical, you don't have to be a software developer, and you just really, now when it's time to generate your cover letter, your LLM has access to your resume, maybe some context file where you just tell it like a little summary about you, like what you really want to highlight, and then the job description, and it can tailor that and then send an email, or actually it can draft. I recommend you draft an email. Don't tell the LLM to send the email. Tell it to create an email draft to the, whichever email was the email of the hiring manager or team that you were interviewing with. And you can then now look at the draft, because you don't want the LLM to hallucinate and just send something right away. You want to review the draft first and then send it yourself, especially for a job search. Now, one last thing. Vibe coding. Anyone heard of vibe coding? Probably, right? Okay, so you don't have to be a software developer to do vibe coding. Probably the first person to say that. So let me tell you, I built this website without touching a single line of code. I don't know what's up with this computer right now. Okay, so I built this website without touching a single line of code. I could, if I need to get my hands dirty, I can. I've been doing full stack web development for a while, but I didn't have to. And I built this. But now, electric engineers, make some noise one more time, because this one's for you. All right. So you're probably learning a lot of amazing things, right? Or you probably have some projects, and it's probably hard to just showcase electrical engineering projects compared to software engineering projects. Like, software engineering projects is so easy. We're so spoiled. We can just deploy it. It's a website. We're like, hey, check out my website. Boom, that's my project. But for electrical engineering, there's probably some hardware involved, right? There's some other stuff involved. You can't just show it just like that, right? But maybe you can start writing blogs about it. So you can vibe code out your own blog website. These are AI-generated images of me teaching a fake classroom, and it looks pretty good. And in there, there's different blogs I have. I have different blogs or trainings, and you learn 100% of what you teach. So when you're learning something, and then you synthesize it, and you teach it in blog format or a video format, and then you publish it on your own website that you vibe coded, you're building your brand. And now when you're applying to jobs, first of all, even beyond that, you're already benefiting, you already won just from before the job says anything, because you have mastered whatever you learned. You learn 100% of what you teach. So you already got the W. Now everything else is a bonus. So now in the job search, this helped me get my job currently, right? Talking about agentic tools, whatever the job is, whatever is important to that job, you can write some blogs about it, learn some stuff, new findings that you have in your engineering projects, publish it, share it with people, grow a community. You have a resource that you can start growing, and it's a brand, and you don't have to code to build a beautiful website like this anymore. So just build it out, have a website, share your knowledge, and synthesize your knowledge. So yeah, this is, yeah, that's it. So personal career advice, be, do, have, right? So this is a quote I have called be, do, have. In society, we've been conditioned a lot that we need to have something like a job so that we can, like for example, I need to have a software developer job or have an electrical engineer job so that I can do the things that person would do so that, you know, so that I can be that person. But I want you to flip that narrative to be, like you want to just be that right away. Just start being whatever you want to be before someone hires you for it. One example, my first job out of a coding boot camp, actually, when I was a student at a coding boot camp, I have zero experience. I was like 20-something years old. I was helping other students in the coding boot camp that were a little bit newer because I had just learned Python and now I'm learning Java. So the students that are learning Python, I'm helping them out because I want to see what bugs they have, and then maybe I can help, and I learn too along the way. But I'm already working as a teaching assistant, and I didn't even know it. Next thing you know, they asked me, hey, do you want to be a teaching assistant? I said yes, and I was very blessed to have that opportunity because that gave me something on my resume that was a technical experience that I otherwise wouldn't have had when I was looking for full-time jobs, and that helped me get a job at Oracle out of a coding boot camp. But if I didn't have something on my resume, some work experience, I don't think I would have gotten that opportunity at Oracle. And then having that opportunity at Oracle really is big leverage because it's a big company. So I had to already be a teaching assistant before someone told me to be a teaching assistant. I had to already be a teaching assistant before I even knew that they were hiring for a teaching assistant in that coding boot camp. That gave me my first role. That part-time role helped me get that role at Oracle. Yeah, I have plenty of other examples, but I'm so running out of time. But basically what be, do, have means you're at the cause and not the effect. You are not waiting for the world to tell you. You are doing it yourself, and you're leading with your heart, with good intentions, love, and curiosity to grow, learn, and build something amazing. And you are at the cause and not the effect, so remember that. Any questions? By the way, I have a bunch of others. I have this one QR code, so if you're a university student, please scan this QR code if you would like to join our Amazon Cloud Clubs program. They provide mentorship, cloud resources, education, training, cloud credits, AI credits, so that you can build stuff. And we even bring industry experts to come and do workshops. Like imagine if I did a workshop with you all on how to set up those MCP servers from scratch, right? You'd get those types of benefits as a Cloud Club member. So scan that if you would like to join that. There's also a hackathon, and I'll be posting this all on Discord for the sake of time.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Rob, for your presentation.
Thank you.
So we have approximately 10 minutes for Q&A. So how we'll do this is if you have a question, raise your hand. Either I'll come over or Pedro over there on questions on that side will come over to you with a microphone. Oh, okay, switch over to Parker. Yep, they'll come over to you with the microphone. When you do that, please stand up so our speaker can see where you are and have a conversation with you. Ask your question, and we'll move on from there. I will try to get in as many questions as possible. So I see the first ones over there, so I can forward you.
Hi, my name is Fidel Makati. I'm a PhD student at Tech Center in electrical engineering. So I have a question. With Keynote, can you use your own local LLMs, or is just commercial LLMs that I can?
Right now, it's commercial LLMs. This is not my laptop, so I can't actually show you Kiro. But yeah, right now they have certain foundation models that are available to select from, so you can choose different ones, and they have different. Some are more new, like the Claude from Anthropic's Claude Opus 4.5 is probably the newest and most expensive to use in terms of credits, wherever you use it. But then you can use Sonnet, Haiku for like very cheap, inefficient LLM tasks. You can choose those. But in terms of local, no. But I love that idea because Wouldn't that be amazing? Because then you can really have fine-tuned models that are very precise in whatever you need. And yeah, I'm pretty sure it's probably coming at some point, but it's not there yet.
All right, also another thing I forgot to mention, you will get a raffle ticket if you do ask a question, so ask away.
Hi, I'm Simon Carter from Montana State, and I had it's in a similar vein to that. With the specific tools and stuff, are they all closed source, or are there ways to integrate GitHub projects or something like that to your own system?
Yeah, I love that question. Yeah, there's actually these MCP servers. I literally just Googled them or actually asked Kiro. I was like, yo, find me some MCP servers. But the one MCP server that helped me with a lot was the GitHub MCP server. So you can actually connect and authenticate your own GitHub account and set up an MCP server with it. There's instructions online. You'll find it various places, and I'm more than happy to even do a demo on it and post it on our Discord. It's pretty quick and easy. And then from that, you can actually even push code to your own repo by prompting. You can pull code. You can also search GitHub's users and repositories. And that's very useful for job search because maybe you want to take a look at a certain certain types of roles that people have or certain companies and what kind of projects that they have on GitHub, just to get some ideas to what kind of projects got them hired, because success leaves clues. Repeat that after me. I love that quote. Success leaves clues. Exactly. So those clues can be found on their GitHub as to what project that they worked on, especially if they have the role that you want. You can take a look, and you can use the GitHub MCP to do that.
Thank you.
Did that answer your question, by the way? I feel like I was rambling. Okay. Probably still rambling.
One of my interests is implementing AI and neural networks on embedded edge devices, IoT stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Are there ways to run NPI servers through Kiro on embedded devices, like say a image recognizing camera or something?
Absolutely. So since Kiro is actually a product of AWS, so it actually has a built-in tool called Use AWS, which authenticates with your Amazon Web Services account, and that has access to these edge computing devices that you can just prompt and deploy, right? Prompt and set up. From prompt, it can just access your cloud resources on AWS right away, natively. And also, he says something about image recognition. Yeah, we have Recognition, a service in Amazon Web Services called Recognition that does all image recognition related tasks. So you can use the Use AWS MCP. It's literally called Use AWS. It's a tool. It's not even MCP. It's a tool that's built into Kiro. And if you're not using Kiro, right, I don't want to lock you into anything. If you're using anything else like code, cloud code, or whatever, right, you can then install the MCP server for Use AWS so that it can, or Azure, or Google, I'm sure they have their own things too, or whatever cloud provider. But these cloud companies have those resources that you can access. No problem.
Any more questions? Remember, we do have raffle tickets for all people who ask questions, and we can take around 2 more questions today. Awesome.
Hello, my name is Cobalt Sami from UW-Tacoma. I was wondering, so with Kiro and a lot of other things, I find that you can get in a loop of where it'll create a problem from a hallucination, but then you try to fix it, then it makes it worse, and you try to go back. And is there anything in Kiro that helps to mitigate that?
Great question. So yeah, there's vibe coding, right? That's the vibe coding hell, right? That's what they call it, vibe coding hell. It's like you're just endlessly vibe coding just to make something work, but it's just make things work. It creates me problems and all that. There's a new industry term called spec-driven development. And it's been gaining a lot of popularity from industry experts and like true software engineers that are like principal engineers at FANG companies. And it's an approach that Hero uses, where there's a system prompt in Hero that tells Hero how to design a whole app based on a design document, requirements files, and then break it down into tasks. So then there's like a source of truth that you can look at that are MD files before you tell it to do those tasks. Now you can have them reviewed with your engineering eyes just to make sure it's on the right track. And then you can press go, and then or you can update it a little bit, modify it, tweak it, and press go, and then it'll literally follow the documentation. And that's called spec-driven development. And then there's other strategies as well that are built into, for example, Hero, and probably other services as well that help you. Like checkpointing is one feature where, like, let's say I have everything working so far, and then like I try something else, and everything just breaks. I can press one button and go back to where everything was working again. It's kind of like version control, but like, you know, just natively built in. And there's also autonomous agents within Hero that once the agent completes a certain coding task, I can have another agent do a code review on that task and do unit tests. There's also property-based testing feature where it generates thousands of tests for a certain feature to verify that it really works. So yeah, there's more and more features and enhancements that are being made on top of these types of services to avoid vibe coding hell.
That's awesome.
Spec-driven development. Great question.
Awesome. Thank you. Any more questions? We have time for.
Hi, so I'm a senior in computer science, and I'm going to be starting my last semester soon. And one of my classes is a capstone class. So I was wondering what would be the best advice for someone like me to kind of like focus my project on, along with how I can use Agentic AI to be able to help improve that project.
Great question. So learning is very important, and in this day and age, there's so many things that are coming out, it's kind of overwhelming to learn all that, right? I recommend maybe picking like one or two like top agentic tools that you can compare, and you'll see that they have similar features, and some might have a different feature than another one, and you'll start to have a preferential workflow towards one over the other for certain tasks versus maybe sometimes for other tasks you might have a preference for Claude Code versus Hero or vice versa. And then you'll kind of know your tool sets a little bit better with agentic AI tools. And then in terms of the projects, I highly recommend I highly recommend this whole process. So the app, full stack applications, but it has to have some AI feature in there. And then I want you to write a blog on the cost economics of how that's going to work when it's deployed to production. Let's say you have a resume reader and job search, like a job recommender app that uses AI. When you just upload your resume, it'll read the resume with using certain tools, and it'll like use AI and like generate certain things. Now, how much would that cost if you deployed that to like thousands of users or millions of users? That AI is, someone's paying for that AI bill, right? Maybe write a blog on it on your own blog website where you have a blog on whatever you just built right there, and then build another project that uses AI in a different way to solve a different problem. And then write a blog about that and something unique about how that concept, was applied for that project. Something unique about that project, and then highlight certain key concepts and explain it. And then now you have a blog and talk about the system design of it, like how it would scale up. So now talk about scaling this app that uses AI and the economics of that and how you would keep it in production or new features that you would add. Write blogs about it. And then now you have projects that you can build and deploy, and then you have blogs showing those projects so you don't have to keep all your projects deployed all the time because that can cost money too. Yeah, so highly recommend that process.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Thanks again, Rob, for the great Q&A session as well. With that is the end of the AWS presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Yeah. Thank you.